question is what Sarah Jane Morris means by the word development.
What do I mean by development?
Sure.
I suppose I mean a journey. I see life as a journey that we go on, and we grow through our mistakes and through the things that we get right, and we develop. So I see it as a personal development, but obviously as I'm a singer-songwriter, I have to see that journey too as something that I develop within. I'd like to think that when I'm in my 70s, like Sarah Vaughan, that I'm still going to be on a journey of stretching myself both as a human being and as a singer. So I think development is something that we all need to be aware of, and we need to explore ourselves as we go through life.
If I say sustainable development, what comes to your mind?
Well, something that one can sustain. That's all I can really speak about is my own development, and so holding on and keeping in touch with is what I perceive as sustaining.
Right, and then we were talking about the.
Are you talking about the song Imagine and what
exactly.
I was talking
about?
Yeah,
exactly.
Okay, well, when I was sitting in my room, because I've never sung Beatles songs before,
right.
And so I was just a little bit too young to have really grown up with them as anything that did much for me musically. I was very involved in a kind of black musical culture, and so I'm now aware in my 50s of the beauty on the melodies and the simplicity of the songs. But this particular song, Imagine, I never met John Lennon, so I don't know quite how deep he was, but it appears to be a very deep song. And I found myself this afternoon singing it and thinking, well, what does this mean? And then I went back to my hotel room and I started to think about what it means to me to be a songwriter, and how I try, when I write, to question, to not have answers. I have no answers. I'm not wise enough to have answers. But I am to keep questioning. And what this song poses is it asks you to imagine something that isn't quite the way we perceive it. And so I decided to take it further. So I will read you the lyrics that I wrote. I wrote, imagine there's no heaven, imagine there's no hell, imagine there's no religion, there's no need for government as well. There would be no more killing, war would have to cease. Imagine a world where we are living side by side in peace. Imagine a world with no hunger, imagine a world with no greed, imagine a world with no prisons, because everyone is spiritually freed. Imagine that we take out of the land and we put it right back. Imagine the sense of community, there would be nothing that we would lack. Imagine a world without racism, because it's red blood that we all bleed. Imagine no more television. Imagine a world where we could all read the good words that have been written, the love that we all should know, that lingers deep within us, that we sometimes forget to show. So I suppose what I mean is, Ithaca was for me one of my favourite poems. It was written by V.
Oh, mine.
And it's
too.
about the journey, but it's about the journey is the important thing. It's not the end. The jewels do not come at the end of the journey. They are what happens along the way. And what I was trying to say is, when we look into this box, which is a television and a computer and a mobile phone, we are just lost within. It's all in. Nothing is out. We are not looking at our neighbour. We are not caring, which is why this horrendous situation happened in China recently, where this baby was run over twice and nobody stopped because nobody was looking. And this is not how it should be. You know, I remember when in the early days when I used to come to Italy, I used to think it was wonderful that all the families sat around the table and ate together. And now I hear that McDonald's has taken over. In the country where it has the best cuisine in the world, McDonald's is everywhere, and people are eating fast food, and people are not sitting down at the table anymore, and they're not talking to each other. And that's because of, you know, this institution that we're being fed, this craziness. We're not being taught to read, we're not being taught to think, we're not being taught to challenge. And that's what I suppose I'm trying to say on this.
So what would you suggest, practically?
Opening our eyes.
Right.
I think not making the television the focal point of the room. If it's there, put a beautiful cloth over it so that you only watch it when it needs to be watched.
This is what I do.
This is what you do. Well,
Yes.
you do the right thing. Because obviously not everyone like me wants to give it up totally. I gave it up totally because it's
Yeah, I'm on the verge of doing that.
It's not good.
Yeah.
Obviously there is good television there, but you have to really read to find out where it is. And it's reading. Reading, the knowledge is there, the beauty is there, listening to people, exchanging thoughts, finding out from your friends that they understand what it means, what you've just felt. You find out about it, then you realise it's not so scary. You know, it's... what I think stinks is I have... I'm surrounded, because I was a gay diva for quite a long time in the communards. I have 6 brothers, 2 of them are gay. I am very aware of homophobia that they all suffer from in this century. I can't believe it. I know that in the arts I'm protected from this, but in the real world, it exists. Racism exists. You know, I find it really hard to accept all of the different religions because every one of them is talking about some kind of ism. Yeah. You know, the fact that if the Catholic Church particularly would only just acknowledge that homosexuality exists and it's not a sin, it is 2 people's decision to sleep together. Sure. It's nobody else's business. Exactly. Did I have to come out and say, hey, I'm heterosexual? No. It's wrong that anyone should have to come out and say, hey, I'm homosexual. It's nobody's business. And if it was okay, then we wouldn't be so scared about paedophilia because it wouldn't be so... It wouldn't be there. It would disappear. Yeah. And what is awful is we associate homosexuality with paedophilia, which is crazy. Tarring it with the same brush. You know, I mean, the fact that in Africa you have the biggest... you have such a problem with AIDS and with a population out of control. Why is it not being encouraged to use contraception? That not only halves AIDS, it halves the population. Sure, yeah. It's little things like this, which is logical.
And my last question is, what would you do to change something in the world, or what do you do?
What do? I try to write about it. I write what I believe in, and I sing it, and I share it with my audience, and sometimes it's something that they're already feeling, and it speaks to them. It doesn't matter if it doesn't, because it's something I have to say. Sure. I'm a songwriter, so I have to say it. It's my language, is writing songs and singing them. And so I hope that I try and practice, I wouldn't say what I preach, because I don't preach, but what I believe in. I try and practice what I believe in. I have a 16-year-old son, and I want my son, who is part of this greedy kind of culture of me, and only me, not seeing outside. And I know he's a deep young man, and I know that he's very intelligent, and that he's the next generation. And I want him to see his mother standing up for what she believes in. And that's why I write the songs that I write, so that he can see he has set an example.
Right. Thank you very much. Now stay there, as I want to kiss you.
I'm very wet, darling.
Thank you very much. Thanks. Fantastic.